Shalom. First and foremost, as always, before I begin, I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all infinite glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone, who taught us his truth through the Holy Spirit and who do rule well. And much peace, love, blessings, and many salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. I am the brother Shapal, out of the Great Millstone Dallas branch, coming to you all again with another lesson. Lord, winning this lesson here is edifying into the flock of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right. And what I wanted to do is actually start a new segment, if you will, on my channel. As you can see, the acronym KUWTT, all right, keeping up with the times, essentially. All right, essentially going into current events, going into the news, all right, and tying all these things into biblical prophecy. All right, as biblical prophecy is and has always been at the forefront of, all right, the ministry of the body of believers, or the prophets, firstly. All right, and when you read the scriptures, there's essentially a storyline being written out, all right, or aforetime written, and declared from the beginning how things would pan out. And it takes having the spiritual eye, the Holy Spirit, all right, and the gifts of the Spirit to be able to understand these things and, you know, pretty much know what's going on, know where you're at, know what's coming from these things. All right. And yeah, pretty much that being the point. So, keeping up with the times in this first edition of this segment, I want to go into censorship, job displacement, and essentially the languishing of the people, and people are in a state of mourning, all right, because the wicked is in authority, and, they have yet to realize, and they're going to realize sooner or later, and we hope the sooner, the former, right, that essentially, all right, this devil, all right, and the rulers that be, the powers that be, they do not have your best interests. They do not care about your well-being. All right, and they're essentially showing forth their horns, man. But what I have pulled up on the screen right now is a clip that has surfaced. I don't know exactly the date in which this came out. I know I saw brothers touching on it yesterday, last night. Um, but I wanted to open up with this clip, and we'll just go from there. Like I said, Lord willing, it'll be edifying.
And we've made it 1 year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said you have freedom of speech. But what has happened is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. I've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with riots. So we're going on that basis. We're looking at it not from the freedom of speech, which I always felt strongly about, but never passed the courts. This is what they do, is they incite. When you burn an American flag, you incite tremendous violence. We have many examples of it.
Right. And essentially this rhetoric of, taking away constitutional rights, as they call it, your unalienable rights, as they call it, things that are essentially God given, right? Them taking it away is them showing forth, hey, that, we're not for you. All right. And we don't care how you feel about it. All right. This, the pretty much they're painting this narrative that, because of the burning of the American flag or particular comments, if you will, as I have this article, um, comments on political figures and certain things you can't be said anymore, right? Certain actions won't be tolerated anymore, right? Essentially, through gradualism, slowly but surely, via actual events but also false flag events, right? This devil is moving the chess pieces on the board to essentially checkmate you, right? And when I say you, I'm referring to the masses, right? Because when it boils down to the elect of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, the body of believers which are now and have always been, all right, being raised up in these latter days, all right, and ultimately getting it, right? We're very aware. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, as the scripture says. First Thessalonians, the fifth chapter, the fifth chapter goes into how when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, right? And the apostle Paul wrote that we're not ignorant of these things. He has no need to write of us because we understand well, right, of the times that we're living in, man. All right. But this is essentially, again, your constitutional rights being violated. All right. And people are up in arms with this, man. People have a problem with this. And you got many Joe Pack Edomites, your regular everyday Edomite that, is a hardcore magger. But essentially, all right, um, you do have people that are finding a problem with the way things are going under Trump's administration since he's entered into office, man. All right. And again, slowly but surely through gradualism, your rights are being taken away. And this is really, the whole targeting of free speech, right? As he said, we took the freedom of speech away, right? This whole targeting is essentially really geared at the Israelites, man. All right, at the talking point. All right, the biblical talking point stance that we have. All right, this is a thorn in this man's side. All right, so it's going to come a point where the word, all right, this gospel won't be readily available anymore, man. All right, this is Amos chapter 8 and verse 11. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it." You know, oh, what was the name that those guys was calling on the street corners? We scoffed and we mocked and this, that, and the third, and it ultimately hasn't as it says in Wisdom of Solomon, the fifth chapter, we thought their lives to be madness. We thought their end to be of nothing significant, you know. But oh, how are they numbered among the children of God? You see, because it's through this very word, all right, in which the elect will be justified, right? And the devil, being the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan that he is, he wants to take away our ability to receive any type of justification. And that's at that point when the devil comes down with great wrath because he knows he has but a short time. At that point, all right, that's when the Lord will intervene with his divine intervention right on his time. Okay. You see, it talks about that in, just real quick. Isaiah 59 and 19, all right, it says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy, right, shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them." You see, this is what's in store for those that endure into the end. This is what's in store for those that refuse the M to the A to the R to the K, right? This is what's in store, all right, for those that vehemently, I believe and push, all right, the power of heaven and earth, man. Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, all right, Yahweh being the Most High's God's true name, and Yahweh Shai being his only begotten Son's true name, all right. But again, the word, all right, is here for a limited time only. Grace is here for a limited time only. As we had this article, I had clicked on it. U.S. revokes visas for 6 foreigners over Charlie Kirk related speech. So again, just adding to the point, right? Slowly but surely, right? Through the means of how they paint the picture of, oh, it's for your benefit. It's We got to get these things under control. It's radical extremist talking points, and it's harmful to the children. It's harm. But look at what they've been pushing, all right, under Sleepy Joe, right, under Obama, and so on and so forth, man. Through these influencers, right? These different podcasts, and you got your Adam 22 and all. I mean, all manner of nastiness and wickedness. But somebody have an opinion about somebody on the right side or the left side, and that's where we draw the line, right? Because he got popped in the neck. Now it's off limits, right? But nevertheless, you see, Isaiah 55 and 6, it says, "Seek ye the Lord while he may be found, call ye upon him while he is near." You see, and that's this grace period that we're in, right? So now is the time to be, you know, essentially seeking the Lord, man, as it says right here, because there's going to come a point in time, as it says, while he may be found, meaning that there will come a point in time where he won't be able to be found. And that's that Amos 8 that we just read. They shall wander to and fro, so sea to sea, seeking the word of the Lord, but shall not be able to find it. You see, because his prophets will be removed and hidden in that day. Now, that's essentially the aspect of censorship, and what I had just through the spirit, um, and your freedom of speech ultimately being taken away, right? But moving on to job displacement, right? As we know, AI has become a very prevalent thing in recent days, right? And this is a article that I came across, recently. It hasn't been updated, but this is statistics, right, from June, most recently updated on June 8th, right? And this is just dealing with the year of 2025, right? And it says AI job displacement 2025, which jobs are at risk. And I have a clip that I want to watch, we could kind of touch on it too. It says AI has eliminated 77,999 jobs, basically 80K, and this was in June. So you could imagine now that it's a few months later, that number's probably closer to 100K, if not more, right? It says, see which positions are disappearing fastest, backed by data from Microsoft, IBM, and Google layoffs, right? It says the AI job displacement crisis isn't coming, whether you want to believe it or not. It's already here, and this is all, a snare essentially, from the billionaire, multimillionaire business tech moguls, the technocrats, as they're called. Those that essentially want to see a society ruled under technology and science, right? You saw prelude of that, the science aspect specifically in 2020, and then they had to renege and pretty much back away and say, hey, we were wrong about all that we said, but yet they're still going to come with a very similar agenda, right? As a pandemic will eventually come back, right? Again, these they have to, you know, put out particular narratives to invoke the people to move a certain way in which they can then bring forth legislation, right? Let's grab this real quick. Just real quick through the spirit, Isaiah 10 and 1, it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Right? Pre meaning beforehand, and scribe meaning written, meaning that this is something that they've been planning out for some time, right? Even when you look at Esau's technology, the technology that we have in the form of the microphone I'm speaking on, the phone that I have, right? The laptop, right? This is technology that's been more recently within the past, couple years or so. As I recently bought these things within the past couple years, to the public, right? But this is technology that Esau Edom has been harboring for decades upon decades, man. Right? By the time it gets to us, all right, as regular civilians, by the time you can pick it up at a Best Buy or whatever, right? This is something that's already been all right for some time now. Okay, but again, they're writing and putting forth all right, unrighteous decrees because they have hidden agendas, right? And AI, again, going back to this article, is a beast within itself. It says we've watched Microsoft axe 6,000 workers earlier this month. Yesterday, IBM laid off 8,000 more employees as AI agents took off their HR department. Tomorrow, it'll be your company's turn, right? And brothers, sisters, just look within, your own job situation, things, leveling up, technological advancement, right? Things are changing, right? It says while executives talk about workforce optimization and AI integration, the translation is simpler. Your job is being automated away. The timeline isn't someday, it's this quarter. I don't want to scare you with this, but the numbers don't lie, right? Men lie, women lie, but the numbers don't lie, right? It says so far in 2025, and again, this was last updated in on June the 8th of this year, right? It says there have been so far in 2025, 342 layoffs at tech companies with 80,000 people impacted. That's 491 people losing their jobs to AI every single day, right? You see, all right. According to the World Economic Forum's 2025 Future of Job reports, which we touch on the WEF often, and how they pretty much are, trying to get you on a cockroach diet, cricket diet, and take away your uh, usage of vehicles and things that pretty much are destroying the atmosphere. Your carbon footprint is too much. You eat too much steak, so on and so forth. Right, the 2030 agenda. If you're not hip, look into it. All right. So it says, according to the World Economic Forum's 2025 Future of Jobs report, 41% of employers worldwide intend to reduce their workforce in the next 5 years due to AI automation. And that's huge, man. That's huge. Right. But here's what the report didn't mention: they're not waiting 5 years, right? They're already making moves, man. Right. And the thing is, it says entry level workers, you're first in line. Who is that predominantly, man? Jake. Are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are true biblical Israelites, man? Right? It says the AI job displacement data is brutal for new graduates. Research from Signal Fire shows big tech companies reduced new graduate hiring by 25% in 2024 compared to 2023. These aren't just hiring slowdowns; these are positions that no longer exist. So the vice grip, if you will, the that cattle squeeze, right, is getting tight, man. Right? He's trying to pretty much funnel the people into a particular school of thought and reaction. Okay. Um, let's see. It's a lot of information, but customer service representatives, AI chatbots reduce telemarketing costs by 80%, making human customer service rapidly obsolete. When did you last speak to a human when calling customer support? Exactly. Right? Data entry, financial analysis, right? Market research analysis. AI is pretty much, you know, taking over, right? And it's all by design. Okay. Technology. Now, and this is a good read. This is a final round AI. I don't want to. I don't want to make this lesson too long. because I still have a clip and some other things that I want to respond to. But from there, let's go to here. This was sent in the group chat by the Elder Ariala, and it was a good listen. He makes a lot of good points, uh, you know, and we'll just respond as we go. Lord willing, to edifying.
You need to learn how to make some money for yourself right now, fam. You better learn it now.
Right, which I'll preface it, because this is obviously a channel, Wall Street looks like us now network, right? Probably, I've seen, certain individuals like Wall Street Trapper and, so on and so forth, where it's like this kind of like, black rhetoric, which ain't nothing wrong with that. Jake wanna, he want his people to win. And shit, to an extent, we want Jake to win too, but we understand prophecy. Again, prophecy being at the forefront, right? Our comfort, our you know, sole strategy essentially. Plan A is the only plan, and that's in Yahweh Bashim shot. Right now, is there anything wrong with trying to make a little bit more money or getting a little side hustle? As long as it doesn't affect your walk with your Lord, with the Lord, then no, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But you got to weigh these things in a balance and consider it for yourself. All right, this is an individual walk. All right, you got to consider for yourself. All right, what can you tolerate? What's applicable to you, and what's not. Now, getting in the stock market, things like that. Of course, with the right advice, the right strategy, the right understanding of these things, it can bring you forth some money. All right, and a lot of people are going down that route. So nothing wrong with that, man. But I did want to just preface it by saying, hey, the Lord is ultimately the refuge, right? Because what this devil is going to come with is not going to be rooted in you having your own bank account, you operating like this, then the third. No, it's going to be more surveillance, more censorship, more what's the word I'm looking for? More limitations, right? And so on and so forth. Right? Jane think they're just gonna just walk off into the sunset and create their own generational wealth. No, this is the last generation. Okay. But like I said, Jake said some good things. Let's go ahead and give it a listen.
You keep saying, oh man, you speaking in a high language and I can't. You better get hooked on phonics for trading. We heard Jerome Powell 2 weeks ago say the job market and the price instability is on the lower tiers of the economy. The labor market is sliding. Increased worry about labor market outlook. Watch this. We have, for this quarter coming up, they're expecting 25% less jobs than anticipated.
Right, which fair use, fair use. I want to throw that out there. Fair use. I don't own the rights to this video. This is strictly just for educational purposes.
25% less. I need you to, I want us to understand something, y'all. This real talk, bro. Like, they can talk all that crap they want about AI is not going to take jobs. I'm going to tell you right now, do not be fooled.
Right, which a point on what he made mention of dealing with the lower class. This is again Jake, man. Right, what do we read? Entry level workers, you're first in line. Right, this is going to be targeted primarily at Jake, man. Right, those that are of the tribes. Okay, now let's go back.
It's like the weatherman telling you, brace yourself, the storm won't go the other way when you looking at the storm coming right at you. Their job is to
It's like Yahweh Shai said, what is that? Matthew the 16th chapter. Let's grab that real quick. Um, Yep, Matthew 16 and 1. It says, let's turn this red letter on. It says, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, You can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times? A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall be no sign given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed, right? And essentially highlighting within this passage is just that Yahweh Shai was pretty much saying you got to be able to discern the times, bro. The times that we're living in. Again, biblical prophecy being at the forefront of the ministry. Like that's the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. Revelation 19 and 10, right? Yahweh Shai prophesied. He told you to pay attention and watch. Right? Be vigilant, right? Let's grab that actually. What was that? First Peter. First Peter 1, 5 and 8, it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Right. So being vigilant, being circumspect, Ephesians the 5th chapter, paying attention to the times. Right. This is important. Okay. Now let's go back.
To keep you from panicking. That's their job. Their job is to keep you from panicking. I'm going to say this, and I hope sometimes we got to give each other tough love. You a damn fool if you won't see this coming straight for you. We listen to the Federal Reserve Chairman. We listen to him say, verbatim, out his mouth. We heard him say this. We think we have a strong economy. The economy is pretty strong, but we are seeing pressure on the lower income tier, which is the black and brown tier, and the college student tier when it comes to job. Well, fam, they got more poor people than rich people in the world. So how the hell is the economy strong if the lower portion of the economy is feeling the pressure? You heard him say this verbatim. It's not me making this up. We heard him say, we put the video up a couple weeks ago.
And you're seeing all manner of, individuals with YouTube channels and TikToks and things of that nature, pretty much warning you, and they can feel it in the air. Like it's a feeling. The spirit of the Lord is upon all flesh at this point, man. People that don't know anything about the truth, they're like, man, it's something finna happen. Some like things are changing. Things is different, right? They're warning you of a greater depression than the 1920s, right? Of a greater crash than the 2008, right? And man, it's beautiful times that we're living in. It's a beautiful time to be a believer, man, right? Because that's essentially where we have our comfort, man, through the word, right? Let's continue on.
We heard him say this, and now this just came out. The labor market is sliding. Increase consumer worry, meaning people are worried about a job. And guess what, y'all? We seeing big companies do what? Lay people off by the thousands. Okay, watch this. We are seeing the market do what? Run up because of what? The anticipation of what AI is going to do. They ain't even made money off it yet. This is the crazy part. If we go look at the earnings calls from last quarter, ain't nobody said how much money the AI that they buying is bringing in. If we go look at it, we can go look at the last quarter of earnings. Matter of fact, AI came in the game when they start really rewarding companies for AI, 2023. Late 2023, early 2024 was smoking. They went to counting. AI got mentioned 40 times on a call, 30 times on a call, 20 times on a call. And the Patreon 2023, we went to having explosions. Why? And now we see it speeding up.
Even you had a recent article, I want to say sometime this year, you had the CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, pretty much tell the press, is pretty much directed at his workers that, there's going to be automation is here, right? Automation is here, and that's going to replace a lot of jobs, man. right? You see them Amazon workers, UPS, a lot of times, bro, it'd be Jake, bro. It'd be Jake, man. So there's a squeeze coming, right? There's going to be an economic, financial squeeze on the masses of the people, man. And this is all by design, right? Because essentially what they want to bring forth is, right, is Jake, I don't know this individual's name, but Jake is going to go into it that UBI, that universal basic income, right? The NWO, right, if you will, right, under the guise of peace and safety and the answer. This is the key, right? But you got to take this Revelation 13 and 16 in your right hand or in your forehead, right? If you want to be able to buy, sell, operate, have a job, right? And this is where that hardcore faith is going to have to come into play, you see? But let's continue on.
So watch this, family. Jose sent me something today. Netflix is paying how much, Jose? 7,000 or 700? 700,000 for anybody who can come in and implement AI to be more productive. This is a streaming company. This is a streaming company. Guess what they gonna do when they do that? You can go, 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 you can go. You know why? Because AI gonna replace you.
That's it. That's it. All right. He hit the nail on the head with that. Companies, if they're able to increase their profitability, anybody who's you know uh, capitalistic and business minded, of course, I want my business to excel and be the best it possibly can be. What how can we make that happen? Oh, AI. This is the automation of it, the seamlessness of it. How pretty much it cuts out a ton of human labor, right? Easier to handle. Just coding, little tweaks here and there, blah 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 blah, whatever. However it operates, and you only need one guy for that, basically, right?
Efficiency means I'm gonna pay the bulk of the money up front, and over the next 5 years, when I lay off these 10,000 people, I'm gonna be profitable because I don't got to pay them no more. That's what efficiency is. You got to understand the words. Efficiency means how can I grow my business efficiently, increase the bottom line, increase the top line while taking off some of that payroll. Mark Zuckerberg ain't paying. That man say, listen, I will spend hundreds of, listen to the exact words right here. I will spend hundreds of billions of dollars so that my company is not late to the AI race. I need you to understand something. A man says, I will pay I'm willing to spend. Now listen to me. Meta is a company that has zero debt, which means he not at risk of going bankrupt. He also has a recurring revenue model that pushes millions of dollars an hour. Let me rephrase that. Hundreds of millions of dollars an hour. So guess what, y'all? That recurring revenue model is for show money. That's why he's building that big old AI facility that in what? Louisiana. Guess what? People gonna have to go. Efficiency. What do you see Amazon doing right now?
Which I'm just actually realizing this is Wall Street Trapper. Wanted to put that out there. I mean, I've seen a couple of the videos. I don't really just sit there and watch and listen to it, but I just realized this is Wall Street Trapper. For some reason, I thought his page was actually Wall Street Trapper, but nevertheless, continuing on.
Amazon has more robots than human beings. We posted it on the show. We showed you the video. He has 1 million robots working in warehouses. Guess what that's going to do? That's going to translate to more work.
You see? So not only is the artificial intelligence a thing, but the actual artificial technology is another aspect, right? It'll be an aspect in the workplace. It'll be an aspect in during martial law, right? During war, right? It's huge, man. Okay, let's continue.
Right now, they just scanning and they packaging. Guess what happened when they start sorting everything out? Guess what happened when they start delivering? Guess what happened when Amazon partners with Tesla or some other robotic company? Don't forget, Jeff Bezos already partnered with an EV company to compete with who? Tesla, with the EV truck. We got to see what's happening. But Trap, why are you saying all that? You need to learn how to make some money for yourself right now, fam. You better learn it now. You keep saying, oh man, you speak.
Let's skip forward a little bit.
Because here's what COVID taught us. Job security ain't a thing. Here's what a government shutdown that's going on right now. We day 7. What it showed us. Job security ain't a thing. And if they do 30 days, guess what? Them people lose all their benefits. 30 days of a government shutdown, you lose your benefits. So you lose your benefits on something that you have no control over. Because two parties can't understand that we spending too much money. 30 days of no governmental work means you lose all the stuff. Come on, bruh. Also, guess what that means? We don't get no financial data. So guess what the market keep doing? Running up because they don't got nothing to say, hey, this shit about to hit the fan. So all I'm saying to us is, bruh, like, you got to learn it. Like, you at some point in time, it was optional. It's imperative now. I don't care if it's Chris Sane. I don't care if it's Terry. Learn from Terry. I don't care if you learn how to better go learn how to do. If you late, you bro, you gon' it's over with for you. These Charles fam, the writing's on the wall.
That's right.
The writing on the wall, bruh. This is not optional no more. It ain't.
And the true writing on the wall is that the Lord is touching this place, man. All right, and it's only gonna elevate and escalate. Okay.
Or they gonna implement something like this universal basic income.
Yep.
This is what I've been telling Jose about. I said, Jose, I said, you ever heard that before, Jose? He said, nah, Brian, never heard of that.
Now I believe he's gonna play a clip, if I'm not mistaken. Check this out.
I actually feel like he is testing it out right now. Remember, he came on TV the other day and said, yeah, man, you know, we're gonna give people we're gonna give them a stimulus check from terrorists. Man, let me ask y'all a question, man.
The writing is on the wall, bro.
I just want to ask you a question. When in the hell you seen rich people, wealthy people in America do some shit for poor people out the kindness of their heart? I just want to take a minute to answer that question. And what American phase did you see them say, you know what, we're just going to give everybody that's poor $2,000, fam, from tariff money? We know good and damn well.
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna grab this real quick. In Sirach 14. And I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, there is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. Right. So in the meantime, if you reap some sort of benefit, like the brother was making mention, a stimulus check, right, or whatever the case may be, right? Back pay, or whatever, I don't know. Right. But it says he doeth it unwillingly if he doeth good. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. You see, so what's all said and done, everybody gonna know that this the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. And the prophets have been here on the scene, right, starting with the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone, all right, telling you what's what, man, essentially, all right, telling you to giving you the what is it called, the skibby, right? Let's go back.
But you know what we saying? Oh yeah, bro, I'm about to get that $2,000. Bro, they setting you up for the kill.
Mm.
I've been seeing it all over social media. They like, yo.
They don't see it. So let's just explain.
Because that's how deprived our people are when you really sit and think about it. $600, $1,200. What is that? Like, what is that? You get $1,200, a random $1,200 hit your bank account today. That shouldn't really, like, yeah, it's nice. I'll take it. Absolutely. But that's not really, that shit gone as quick as as quick as it gets there. Right? The reality of the situation is that we're in very, very stressful, anxious, and evil times, man. All right, the devil is working. Okay, and if you don't get close to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, if you don't try to glue yourself to his hip, so to speak, well, you're just gonna lose, bro. Right? You going down to Egypt for help, right? The shadow of Egypt, trying to make it your refuge, right? Trying to find, an avenue within the beast system when the beast system is slated to be destroyed, right? Thus saith the Holy Bible. All right, let's keep going.
Explain to them what the UBI is right quick. Do we got a video on that?
Me say, hey, everyone gets $1,000 a month, you're like, wow, that sounds too good to be true. It is not too good to be true. And this is a renaming of something called universal basic income, a policy that's been with the country since our founding. Thomas Paine was for it. He called it the citizens dividend. Martin Luther King fought for it in 1967 in his book Chaos or Community. And it is what he was fighting for every day up to the day he was assassinated in 1968. Milton Friedman and 1,000 economists signed a study saying this would be tremendous for America. And it even passed the U.S. House of Representatives twice in 1971. It came this close to being law. So this is not as radical as you might think. 44% of American jobs will be subject to automation in the next 20 to 30 years.
20 to 30 years, my ass. All right, 2 to 3, if that. Okay.
20 to 30% in the next 10 to 20 years. I mean, think about what that means. The most common jobs in the U.S. economy are administrative and clerical, which includes call center workers, retail and sales, food service and food prep, truck driving and transportation, and manufacturing. Those 5 sectors are all going to shrink, and that's half of American jobs. And then you're looking at other white-collar jobs like insurance agents and financial advisors and accountants and bookkeepers, radiologists, like a lot of professions are going to get affected by this. And so the way we fund the freedom dividend is we join every other advanced economy in the world and have a value added tax that then gives the American public a tiny slice of every Amazon sale, every Google search, every Facebook ad, every robot truck mile, and returns it to your pockets. And there is one state that's had a dividend.
Right, but the twist on this, right, once this is finally come to fruition, all right, as he made mention, there's been, it's passed the House in 1970s under who was that, Reagan, right? It's been a talking point for some time, but the stipulation and the caveat is going to be that you're going to have to take this Revelation 13 and 16, this charagma. Okay, you're going to have to be in the database, and pretty much we're going to monitor and track everything that you do and say. Dystopian society, right? Like in the movies, man. All right.
For almost 40 years, where everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. Do you know what state that is? It's Alaska. And Alaska funds it with oil money. And what I'm saying to you is that technology is the oil of the 21st century. And what they're doing for Alaskans with oil money, we can do for all Americans with technology money.
Like we've seen this movie before.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, I've seen this movie before. Right. Only difference is it's not a movie, man. This is reality. Okay. This is reality, man. All right. And this is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua's working, man. All right. Let's grab that real quick. Um, Psalms chapter 119. Select it. chapter 119 and 126, all right, it says, it is time for thee, Lord, to work, for they have made void thy law. Right, let's look at some different translations. Right. Lord, NLT, Lord, it is time for you to act, for these evil people have violated your instructions. You see, swearing in on the Bible, claiming to be a God-fearing country, Christian ethics, so on and so forth, but don't uphold anything in the scriptures, none of the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? It like just completely left. So it talks about that in Psalms, the 50th chapter. What hast thou to do to declare my word, or that thou shouldest put as my statute in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction, right? This is a child, right, in the power seat, man. Okay, let's go back.
Now what I love about the way my guy broke it down was he made it seem like it was like it ain't that bad. There will be a clear sign of the haves and the have-nots.
Right. Yeah, the guy did. He kind of did like just paint like, oh yeah, it's gonna be this. Yeah, everybody, you'll get a slice from every purchase, very small fraction, and it'll just go right to your bank account. No, there's gonna be plenty stipulations and again caveats, right, within this new structure, this NWO, man.
Now, of course, Facebook don't mind giving you a piece of that, and they're giving it. But what happens when your total income now is $30,000 a year? And here's the thing, y'all. For COVID, they already tested it on us. And when you look at it now, bro, you got to think about it, bro. Everything that happened for COVID really could have been. And I said this when it happened. I said, nah, this is a shift right here. This the reset to push us forward where we going. Everybody understood. They were like, nah, this is a reset. Guess what, y'all? They already showed us what happens when your income is only the income that the government gives you.
Slack it.
Bruh, it's a clear divide between the haves and the have-nots once this happened. Because now, millions of jobs no longer exist. Now everybody trying to wash cars, everybody trying to cut grass, plumbing.
I was like, that's the last job, really, you think about it.
Construction is it, bro.
All the women are selling ass, right? Getting their bodies done to look a particular way and capitalize on social media, right? All the men are fitness coaches, and you got all, but what it what it's showing forth is that people are truly one uh, in love and infatuated with the idea of being rich, right? Money, right? They worship mammon, right? That's why it's pretty much forced upon them to kind of act that way, and when you think about the culture, right, the rappers, the music videos, the money, the fame, the women, the notoriety, the you know access and the privilege that comes along with these things, right? And there's nothing wrong with money. Money's a defense, right? But being consumed by it, as these people are, right, is detrimental, right? It's a slippery slope. Okay. But yeah, uh that's pretty much, I mean, I think that's pretty much the clip. Let's see. Ecclesiastes 12:1, it says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Right. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. It's a very gloomy time to be a, a believer in the American dream, right? Reality is going to set in. Okay. If it hasn't already, then you're just not operating in reality. Okay. It says, verse 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Right? And he shall raise up or rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. You see that mirth, right? Essentially being, stripped from this place, as it says in Isaiah, it's the 24th chapter. But first, I want to go ahead and grab this. This will be the last clip. This is Arrows of Indignation 144. Make sure you subscribe and check the brother out. He's always posting good clips and things relative to the times, man. Okay. Let's see.
I got a letter recently that my property taxes are going to go up $600 a year from now on. I got a letter that my homeowner's insurance is going up $60 a month. My propane company sent me a letter that my propane is going to double this year. They just came and filled up my tank. It was $1,000. That's crazy. Also, as a entrepreneur and business owner, I get my health insurance through the marketplace. So you have the Affordable Care Act. I pay $45 a month. They just
So what you're going to see, and what you often see just on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, social media in general, you see a lot of people complaining, right? Essentially, these people are ripe for the picking. These people will openly accept taking that Revelation 13 and 16. They'll openly accept a form of comfort, right? Because what this the current state of events is very comfortless, very uncomfortable. Okay, but you see, this is the essentially the life of the average American, all right? Just right for the picking, being fattened up, right? They've been fattened up. They've gotten accustomed to a particular lifestyle, a particular level of convenience, a particular, right? But essentially, it's being the rug's being pulled out from under them, right? And the new rug that's coming in, all right, they're gonna be you know ultimately wooed by it. Okay.
warned me that if this bill passes and I lose my tax credit, I'm going to go from $45 a month to $660 a month for health insurance. I need to buy a new car, and I can't because the cars have gotten more expensive and the interest rates have gotten so much more expensive.
Right. And I thought I had another article pulled up, but it was basically going into how, most Americans, all right, and I believe it was published, the article itself was published this year, but it goes into how most Americans basically can't, what is the term they used? A lower level of like they can get the necessities, but they're living as far as like luxuries of traveling and eating out at will, going to nice fancy restaurants every weekend and experiencing ultimately being able to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Most Americans aren't able to do that, right? Most Americans nowadays, all right, most households in America nowadays require a two-income household, right? It's tough, man. It's tough, right? The wages, right, aren't keeping up with the cost of living, right? The cost of living is far outpacing wages within just looking at the past decade alone. Okay.
I can't find a reliable car that has the same monthly payment of $450 a month that I've been paying now for a new car. Not necessarily new, but new to me. Groceries are insane, and it feels like every day I get a new email from another subscription that I have, whether it's Netflix, my website subscription, everything's increasing in price. And I sit pretty much every day stressed about money, and yet I know that there are so many people in this country that are way worse off than me, and they're not making it, y'all. They're not making it. What hurts me the most is that there are so many women, especially, that just cannot afford to leave abusive homes, and they have to stay in it because of this economy. So Are we great again, America?
Which the scriptures talks about a humbling that's going to come unto women as well, man, because the way that, women have been pumped, if that's even the correct term, they've been pretty much uh, given over unto this pompous way in which they carry themselves, which men fall under the same category too. But the pride of women is something else these days, man. Okay, so there's a humbling coming for women as well, man. And the Lord, and this is all Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. All right, this is the God of heaven and earth, man. The God of the Bible that we're talking about. The same God that flooded the earth and saved 8 souls. Yeah, you think about the women, the children, the families, the old ladies, so on and so forth. Yeah, the Lord did that. Didn't wink at it, right? And the Lord's reserved this place unto fire, as it says in Second Peter the third chapter. But I'm going to grab this here in Ezekiel 9:4, right? It says, "And the Lord said unto him," right? And this is when you read up, essentially, I believe there were 6 angels, right? And 5 of them carrying weapons of slaughter, right? And then you had one with a pen, pretty much an inkhorn, and a writer's inkhorn by the side, as it says. And he was given the instruction to, as it says here in the fourth verse, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And when you go into that word mark in the Hebrew, just for edification, it's the wah. All right. The wah. All right. It says a mark as a sign of exemption from judgment, to be exempt from judgment. All right. Exemption, the process of freeing or state of being free from an obligation or liability imposed on others, right? So that the wah is essentially that Revelation 7, right? Those 4 winds being held back, right? But that destruction is set to come. That's for the people of the world, man. We're gonna be here in the midst of it, right? Our faith being tested and tried, being brought through the fire, as it says in Zechariah the 13th chapter, right? Being refined, right? Being purified, essentially, right? You know, but the judgment is for the masses, man. The judgment is for the people of the world. That ain't for us, man. Okay. So it says, it set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And that's what the prophets, the men of the Lord, are doing, man. All right. But he said, what? He said unto the others, the other 5 angels with slaughtering weapons, he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. To smite means to what? To kill unmercifully. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. So you think the Heavenly Father, like you could have a problem with the way the Heavenly Father does things. It's not going to change how he does things. All right. It's not going to change the reality of the situation. All right. When you're first coming into the truth, yeah, it might be a little harsh, but then you start to get it. Wicked people need to be put out. Point blank, period, man. Okay. And nobody's innocent. Whosoever hath perished being righteous, as it says in Job, right? We all past lives in this life, right? We've all committed sins worthy of death, right? And it takes a faith and accountability to be able to acknowledge that truth, man. Okay, but let's go back to the clip.
Like, is this what you voted for? Meanwhile, they all sit there in D.C. not feeling any of these pressures, not doing anything about it, not giving a shit about the American people. I have been extremely poor, and I have been extremely wealthy. And I know from firsthand experience that the wealthy people don't notice it. And most people are pretty self-absorbed and aren't thinking about other people anyway.
What the fuck are we doing on this earth, man?
JK Ball fired up, fed up, man. All right. We'll finish off the clip, but I want to grab this. All right. Isaiah 24:4 says, The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. Right? To be haughty is to be, it could be in a multitude of things, but to be prideful, right? Lofty, right? When you think about the average American in terms of wealth globally, some of the poorest people, right? Let's just say minimum wage. Minimum wage in America is doing better than a huge percentage of the global population. So when you think about it, like, bro, you making like 20, 30, 40 plus dollars an hour, you're very well off. Right. Of course, we know the cost of living is different here in the US, but when you think about wages, when you just think about money being brought in, right, and quantity, right, yeah, Americans as a whole is a haughty people, right? Verse 5, it says, The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, right? As the king is, so are the people, so are his judges, the rulers, right? And it's degenerate because this man is a degenerate. All right, this is because they have transgressed the laws, right? And that's why the Lord is doing these things, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry hearted do sigh. You see? So that's where we're at with it, man. That's where we're at it. We read it in Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. These things are coming to naught, man. The mirth is ceasing. All right. The merry hearted do sigh.
Most of us wake up and go to a job that we really don't fucking like, but we can't really quit because we got to get the money to pay the bills that they say is important to pay. What the fuck is the point of this life, man?
Yeah, and that's the curses essentially, man. All right. This is the predicament that we found ourselves in as a peculiar people, the Israelites, man. All right. Because of our disobedience, right? Baruch chapter 3 and 8, Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. Right. And Esau is essentially that whipping stick, man. All right. Psalm 17 and 13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword, right? Wicked, right? It can be anybody, but when you're talking about the wicked, all right, pursuant to Malachi 1 and 4, all right, you're talking about Esau, Edom, all right, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright and found no place of repentance, man. All right. The devil that the Bible speaks of. So we're made subject unto this man, right? Because essentially this is a punishment being played out, right? And the sooner you can come to grasp with that reality, right? And then the sooner you'll be able to acknowledge, well, what's the actual answer? What's my way out? What's you figure it out through the spirit. Okay.
We go to grocery stores and buy food that God gave us for free. Why the fuck did we pay for lights? Boy, that's just the way it is. Fuck you. I'm tired of all this. That's just the way it is bullshit. This whole fucking system is garbage. America ain't nothing but a big ass fucking plantation, man.
That's right. That's right. We are yet this day in our captivity, man. We've been given, it was you had the boomers, Generation X, they kind of had it good, even going into the 80s, 90s, right? But it's been downhill, man. Us younger brothers that, under 30, we really got the short end of the stick. We could have it would have been, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just being facetious and funny, for the most part, but it's just it's funny. Like maybe we could have been able to experience Babylon in its prime, you know, like a Big Mac in Babylon's prime. I bet that was bussing. Salakia, man. Salakia. I'm gonna finish off the clip. It's late.
A big ass fucking plantation. What the fuck are we doing here? There are days I don't want to be on this earth.
Man.
And I'm not saying I want to unalive myself and nothing like that. But I'm tired, man. It's like, what the fuck is the point of any of this? To work till we 60, 70 years old?
Right. Jake said he tired, man. What is that? I know it's in Daniel. Wear out the saints. Where Wear? Daniel 7:25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time, and the times and the dividing of time. How do we know that the saints are the Israelites? Psalms 50:5. It says, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. You see, and that was only given unto the nation of Israel. All right, that priesthood, all right, those cardinal ordinances, the laws, statutes, and commandments. This was all right, only ever given unto the nation of Israel. Not Psalms 119, Psalms 147 and 19 and 20. It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. Right. One more that came to mind. Amos 3:1, it says, hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel. As you can see, the header says all the tribes are guilty, right? Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. You see? So I get it, man. Jake fed up. We fed up. But there's more. There's more to come, man. Right? And, as my closing precept says here, 2 Thessalonians 1 and verse 6 and 7, it says, seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you, and to you who are troubled, rest with us. When the Lord Yahushua shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels, in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not the Most High, and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach. You see, who shall be punished from everlasting destruction, from the presence of the Lord, and from the glory of his power, when he shall come to be glorified in his saints, and to be admired in all them that believe, because our testimony among you was believed in that day. You see, so ultimately we're waiting for the Lord, all right, but prophecy has to play up. All right, this has been the first segment of keeping up with the times. All right, as we touched on a little bit of censorship, job displacement via AI, right? And how people are pretty much in a state of languishing and mourning, man. These are all signs of the times, man. All right. But nevertheless, as the elect remnant, the hopeful elect remnant, I'd rather say we have that hope. Right? We have, all right, the answer, the key. All right. So with that, man, Lord, when this lesson was edifying and closing, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachakadash. Double honors again to the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone, who taught us his truth through the Holy Spirit and who do rule well. And much peace, love, blessings, many salutations to the elect. Shalom.